Rex, g'day. I understand you've got a mate there with you. First of all, introduce us to your mate.
This is our pet Simpsons python at home. This is Morgan. So actually belongs to Hannah, my daughter, and she loves her, and she's a beautiful little creature. And there's plenty of these in Alice Springs as well.
And tell us a bit more about the Simpsons python.
The Simpsons is a common little creature around here. They grow to about 1 metre long, and they're, as you can see, they're completely harmless. They do a great job at keeping the mice down, but they'll also eat little skinks and geckos. They'll also eat frogs. But because Alice Springs has got a lot of rocky areas around, there's certainly heaps of these in Alice Springs.
And could that one there, is that a relatively young one in front of you, or is that fully grown? And if so, how the hell do they fit a mouse in their jaws?
Yeah, this one's only young, so it's probably around about 3 years of age now. And when they're really young, they'll eat tiny mice, and as they get older, they'll eat larger mice. But they'll also eat skinks and geckos, which is one of their foods that they get when they are first starting out.
Good stuff. Okay, so what usually happens with snakes around this time of year as it gets warmer?
So what's happening at the moment is it's starting to come into season. So our normal snake season here will start about the end of August and go through to about the middle of May. And generally you get more snakes in September than you get more in October. The average October we get is probably up to about 80 call-outs for October. Last year we did about 112, I think, and then this year we logged over 200 calls for October, so it was a massive increase. And you've got a lot of extra rain this year compared to other years, and also there's lots of mice around. So normally when you get a snake, first of all, it comes out and you might have it quite skinny when it comes out of hibernation, but all the snakes we're catching at the moment are big and fat and healthy, and so that means they're all at breeding potential already. So I caught a pair of western brown snakes only a couple of days ago, and they were in the middle of mating when I caught them. We bagged them.
That's a bit rude of you, Rex.
Yeah. We took them back to the reptile centre and they were still mating, so that didn't even stop them.
Okay, and so tell us some of the spots that you've found snakes in and around Alice Springs.
Just over the last week or so, we've had them under dishwashers. We had one which was an eastern brown snake that was in their lounge room, and they're very lucky they saw that during the day, because the problem with brown snakes, any snake is very shy and they do their best to get away from us, but what happens if a snake gets into your house, they don't want to be in the house. They've only gone in there to get food and then they head back out again. But if they eat a mouse and they've got in through a gap in under the door, then the mouse may be big enough in their stomach that prevents them from getting back out, and they don't like that. You know, they want to be back outside. But the problem with a brown snake is when they bite you, it's just like a little scratch, and you may not even notice it. And when they first bite you, there's probably hardly any bleeding whatsoever. So if you jumped out of bed in the middle of the night and stood on one, and it bit you or scratched you, and then ducked under the bed, you'd think, oh, I just scratched myself on a toy or whatever it was there, and you didn't realise it until about half an hour later when you get quite sick. So you don't want to have a brown snake inside your home, especially at night time. They were lucky they saw it. And then only a couple of days ago, I was called to remove a big western brown snake, which was out of a pot plant. And the only reason why they saw that is they actually saw it go into the pot plant. When I got there was no visible sign of it. I actually had to remove the plant out of the pot and put my hook in there to remove the snake out. Otherwise, they would never have known it was there.
And I understand there was one behind a couch as well, which gives me the shivers.
Yeah.
So what are your tips to people if they do come across snakes?
The main thing to remember is snakes are actually very, very shy. So snakes actually don't like us whatsoever. So they're way more frightened of us than we're of them. So that's why they're always hiding. So you can see the eastern brown snake there, and that was hiding behind a cabinet in a lounge room. And the other brown snake before was down in the pot plant. But they want to get away from us. So if you impede where they want to go, they don't like it. So if you just stand still, they'll basically go straight past you and go for their nearest hiding spot. But the main thing is to not make them want to come into your place. So the thing is, put all the rubber strips on the bottom of the doors. Check those rubber strips at the start of every snake season. So make sure the strip goes right across the door so there's no little gap in it. And that's probably the best thing to do. And look in your yards, keep your yards nice and clean and tidy. Snakes don't like tidy areas because they're then predators see them more easily. So snakes like to be able to hide. If we go to a snake hall here in Alice Springs, they've got a pool. Snakes love swimming. They don't really need to drink much water, but they love swimming. They've got a bird aviary because that attracts mice, or they've got a compost bin. The best compost bins to have is the rolling compost bin that stands off the ground.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Rex, thanks so much for having a chat to us and introducing us to your Simpsons python.
Awesome. Thank you very much.